your interview panel may have a combination of a union rep, an HR rep, a chief, a captain, a recruiting captain. It could be any one of those people. So your audience is different. The answer that potentially a chief may like, the HR rep might not like.
Yeah.
So you have to ensure that your answer is tailored for the entire panel and not just one specific type of person listening to your story.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, another common question that you'll probably get is something that involves teamwork, whether it's a time that you let your teammates down, or a time that you had to come together as a team to, reach a common goal, right? If it is like a negative, let's say, for example, like, can you tell us about a time that you let your team down? Talk about like what you learned from that. Like, how were you able to grow from that experience? What you learned from it, whether you made a mistake or whatever it is, like how you can maybe fix that if that situation were to come up again.
Yeah, I think the best way that I've kind of tried to explain it to people is whenever it's a positive thing, so a time you did well, a time you successfully were part of a team, a time you did a great thing at your work, talk about other people. But when it's something negative, like time you let your team down, time your actions had negative consequences, talk about yourself.
Yeah.
So take heat for the negative things and give praise to others for the positive things.
Yeah, dude, I totally agree with you on that, right? And also by doing that, it shows that you can take ownership for your mistakes, and that you're not just going to blame others for, something that you had control over.
Yeah, and if you do, then that's a red flag for the interview panel.
Yeah, 100%. So what about you, Boris? Like, what other common interview questions do you find? I mean, especially with you being on an interview panel, do you often switch your questions up, or?
I do. I feel like there's roughly about 120 questions that kind of pertain to firefighting in total, really, that you want to kind of ask. But I think the ones that most fire departments ask are, why you want to be a firefighter, or why this particular municipality. Those core inner questions that you need to know without studying.
Yeah.
My favorite one that I like having on my panel is, why should we hire you?
Yeah.
You shouldn't have to study for that answer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you should know yourself well enough and know your reason for wanting to be with that department. Like,
Totally.
Make it personal to you too, right? Like, if you're somebody who is, super busy and you like being busy and you like, that like kind of fast paced kind of thing, like, tell them that, like, hey, I really enjoy being busy. I like going on calls, whatever, right? And express that to them too, right? Because then they're gonna be like, oh, okay, like, what, we're actually a pretty busy department. Like, this person might be a good fit here, right?
Yeah, and with that, like, know the department you're applying to. If you're applying to one of the slowest departments in your area, you may want to refrain from saying you like to be super busy on calls.
Yeah.
Because not only does it show that there's a misalignment of the department and yourself, but it also shows that you didn't study that department too well.
Yeah. Yeah, you should do your research, right? Like, you should go into an interview panel and know as much as you can about that department.